So hello everybody, welcome back. I haven't uploaded any videos lately because I don't have internet in my room. I haven't had internet for the last 4 days, since Thursday, and today's Sunday. So yeah, 4 days, because they don't fix problems during the weekend. And I wanted to talk to you about several misconceptions, miscalculations, and things that will happen when you're in hard times. Because on Thursday, we were without water roughly 7.5 days, roughly. Meaning there was no water coming through the pipe. However, I did have water for the first 2.5 days, maybe 3 days. So I was without water at all for 4 days. During those 4 days, I was on bucket duty, 24 hours. And, it was a mess. The whole situation wasn't local, meaning if you wanted to go someplace or whatever, you couldn't, because this situation happened in the entire city. So it doesn't matter where you go. If it is in the entire city, then unless you are going to another city and you're driving 1 hour or more, then So grab a cup of coffee and your notebook or whatever, if you are used to the idea of writing down things when I'm talking. And hell, for all I know, you can even watch this video while eating popcorns, because the whole drama, it's going to be fun to watch. Not to experience, oh hell no, but it's fun to watch. And listening to it, I'm guessing that you're probably going to laugh the hell out of this thing, because we were actually kind of expecting, the aliens to land any minute. And oh crap, it was really, really, really weird. Speaking of coffee, if you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that in the link down below. And if you want to help me out, you can also send an Amazon gift card in the link down below. And if you wanted to read more about hard times, I have some books that I have written on this topic. They are in Gumroad, and the link is also down below. So anyway, so let me start by telling you several things. This video, by the way, is going to be all over the place, and I'm sorry about that. It's just that I have been trying to do this video for several times, and I'm having troubles with my computer because of the memory thing. So basically, every time that I was doing it, it interrupted me like 3 minutes on the video, saying that the memory was up or whatever. And then I had the problem with the internet, and then, oh crap, it has been, it's not like I'm writing things down as I'm, walking all over the place with the freaking buckets. Now, by the way, so number one, the pool that my daughter has with the water, the pool broke. So basically, the water that I had, that it was ground level, it was easy to get, it was gone, and you know why? It's because the snails that we have in the garden ate the plastic from the pool. And I was wondering if the snails are on a hunger strike, and they are now moving forward from eating all of the vegetables plants that I grown, they moved to the flower part, and now they refuse to eat the grass and all the weeds, but they certainly now move forward to eating the freaking plastic. So I'm wondering if they are going to start eating cement next. So if that happens, I'm guessing that they will be fat and they will be very, very big for a very long time because my house is made out of cement. So I'm kind of like, right. So no idea how the hell to get rid of these snails, by the way, because they are African snails and they don't have a natural predator here. And also they are poisonous. So it's not like I can, cook them or do whatever the hell with those things. By the way, there are some people that have tried that. And because, you do know that there are people that will eat snails, especially, in Europe or whatever. And the thing is that there are certain types of snails that you can eat, but others, they are poisonous. And yeah, once you eat the snail that is poison, yeah, you don't want to know what the hell happens, but yeah, it's really, really freaking bad. So there are people that are fighting hunger with hunger, so they have decided to eat the freaking snails until, there has to be so many freaking campaigns telling people to stop eating mushrooms from the grass because you do not know if they're poison. So oh crap, you have no idea. Number one, you're not supposed to feed kids, like babies, like newborn babies and stuff like that, with any kind of natural medicine. And no, you're not supposed to give them milk because powder milk is not the same as baby formula. So there has been, so many kids that are going to the hospital and they require huge surgeries, removing part of the intestine and stuff like that, trying to save their lives because people think that milk is the same as formula. It's not. People think that snails are all edible. They're not. People think that they can eat all the freaking mushrooms. You shouldn't. And there is people also doing alcohol by themselves in their houses, like illegal alcohol and stuff. And then they are selling it. And they are leaving those bottles on the street. And kids are drinking it. And, some of them are made with, there are two types of bacteria. The ones that are oxygen and the ones that do not consume oxygen. So they are different and they produce different kind of fermentation and things and stuff. So if you do not know what the hell you're doing to produce alcohol, you shouldn't do that and stuff like that. So point being that, there has been several kids, especially teenagers, who are trying to produce their own beer and whatever, and they are now with brain damage or paralyzed or dead because they think that their product is actual beer. And let's see. The other one is that, there are several people that are homeless that will walk around with bottles with alcohol. And some of them will pee in the bottles with the alcohol and stuff. And some of them will leave the alcohol behind. And this alcohol, like I tell you, it's very, very dangerous. There was a couple of kids that were 9 and 6. They were brothers. And they were on the street and they saw this bottle. And it says, a sweet thing. It says something. We have a liquor. Liquors usually have the word sweet on it. Because, it's liquor and some of them are sweet and others are not. So the big one, the big brother, the one that was 9, read sweet on that thing, so he thought that it was sweet. So between the two of them drank the whole bottle, and they spent 3 days agonizing in the hospital, convulsing several times until they were dead. And you have no idea how bad it is, the problems with people consuming and eating whatever the hell they are you know, they can. And it's not just that, but the fact that you will think that, you know, making cheese is just a process of 3 minutes. You doing the you know, milk, and then preparing with the vinegar or whatever, and then cutting it, and then you have the cheese. Hell no. You know, that is just a product that you're making yourself, but you could call it cheese, but that is not the actual cheese that takes, you know, hours to make, and you're supposed to make it into a certain type of environment, because, you know, we have bacteria in our bodies, and some of that bacteria is bad for you. Some of that bacteria is good for you, and you have to figure out how to deal with that. And that is what we call, you know, fermentation food and all of those things. And that's why, you know, we experimented on these things, and then we come up with the cheese process and the sausage process and all of the process that we so far have. But you thinking that you master the thing in 2 minutes because you saw a freaking YouTube video, it doesn't work. And in fact, there has been several people in the YouTube channels that are doing live videos thinking that they are eating aloe vera, which is a plant that you can actually eat, by the way, but it does have a hell of a lot of iodine if you do not know how to prepare it. And, you know, the people think that they are eating the aloe vera, and it's not. It's a plant that is very, 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 it looks similar, but it is not. And so this plant is actually poison, and it's really, really freaking bad. And the worst part is when you know, when you don't have medicine, and then you're dealing with kids, and so you're trying whatever medicine works for the adults. You know, you're not supposed to give kids things that you are supposed to give to adults. That thing that says, yeah, my kid will eat whatever the hell I eat, it doesn't work, especially if it is a freaking baby. Okay? And I can tell you that, you know, my baby brother was being watched by my aunt. And my aunt gave my baby brother, who was literally 3.5 weeks old, she gave him orange juice because it was morning and every kid should drink orange juice when you wake up. She thought that that was healthy. I can tell you right now that my brother started pooping blood, and he almost died, and we didn't know what the hell, and we were about to get him into freaking surgery and get him, you know, the freaking testing, whatever, and I can tell you that the only reason that my aunt is alive is because my grandmother was in the middle of that thing, because otherwise my mother would have killed her. And I will not be telling you all of this because my mother would have probably been in jail. I get interrupted all the freaking time. So anyway, besides the fact that you don't have medicine to treat with your kids, so you will try anything natural and you will think that it's the same dealing with kids. By the way, dealing with kids is not the same as dealing with infants. Dealing with infants is not the same as dealing with babies. Dealing with babies is not the same as dealing with newborns. Hell no. The medical devices will not be the same. The medicines will definitely not be the same. The food should not be the same. And nothing will be the same. Nothing. I don't care how the hell you look at it. Nothing is the freaking same. And I can also tell you right now that if you are breastfeeding, and you are not an expert or you have no idea, what the hell, yeah, I can tell you that 7 out of 10 times the baby will have nutritional problems. Like it will be malnourished, and the baby will start losing weight. And when babies start losing weight, it doesn't seem like a lot, but 100 grams out of 300 grams, out of 3,000 kilos, 3,000 grams, as in 3 kilos, 100 grams of that thing is almost 10% of the weight. So when babies dehydrate, they will die faster than all the other kids. And when babies are malnourished, they will be in more problems than the rest of the kids, as in, all the other groups' age or whatever. And it's bad. It's because even though you are feeding the baby, because the baby is taking milk out of you, that might not be sufficient for the baby. The reason being that women do not have proper nutrition in their bodies. So if you, as a woman, do not have enough support for the breastfeeding process, what you're giving up is basically liquid. And the baby might not die of dehydration, but it will probably have a hell of a lot of problems because of malnourishment. So when you're dealing with these things, you do need somebody that have already gone through this, or somebody that will help you. And it is a process, because like I told you, 3 out of 10 will be perfectly okay and there will be no problem whatsoever. But the other 7, oh crap, it's a problem. So I can tell you right now that my cousin, me, and I have like 4 friends that went through the same process, and we all ended up with the babies in the freaking hospital with the doctors, because we were breastfeeding and we were giving them water and the babies were fine and everything was fine, and yet they will malnourish. Somehow this happens, and I was kind of like, what the hell? And the thing is that when you are breastfeeding, you are supposed to be eating and drinking certain things, because if you're not, then the baby is basically taking liquid out of you, and the baby is taking the minerals out of you. However, if those minerals do not get replenished in you, then basically, the baby is just drinking fluid. It's not drinking minerals, and it's not drinking whatever it is supposed to be drinking. So, so you do need to have a plan for not having formula and breastfeeding not being enough. And if you're telling me, yes, it is enough or whatever, like I said, 3 out of 10 will be okay. 7 out of 10, hell no. Reason being that the woman is not enough. It's kind of like, let's say that you have 100 minerals and the baby requires those 100 minerals. So if the baby, takes the milk out of you 100, that's it, you are in 0. So if the baby continues milking or whatever, what the hell is she milking? You don't have any more. If you have $100 in your bank account and then you go and withdraw it, and then you go the next day and then you withdraw another 100, where the hell are you going to get it if you only had 100? So, nutrition for the pregnancy is extremely important, and it is not being considered. And, and the worst part is that, the whole situation with the food and the whole situation with nutrition, it will drive you completely nuts. I swear, it's like if you do not have a nutritional chart, like or you want to read or maybe even a scam a book about. Sorry, I got interrupted again. So anyway, I was telling you that you want to have like a book on nutrition, something, and you might want to even scan through that thing like fast or whatever, but you do want to have the basic of nutrition, because when you're lacking magnesium, you will have a hell, and I do mean a hell. And oh crap, for all I know, you want to watch the freaking YouTube videos about that. A hell of a lot of symptoms when you don't have enough magnesium in your body. And it's insane. When you don't have enough, when you're dealing with a hell of a lot of stress, you need a hell of a lot of vitamin B's, complex B's, and stuff like that. And people will buy only vitamin C mostly, and people are like, yeah, that's the only one that I need or whatever. Yeah, that's fine, except for the fact that vitamin C, you might be able to get it in several teas that you can make, and that one, it's kind of like nature's bounty. There is vitamin C in a hell of a lot of plants. Now, do you want to go crazy and eat a lot of plants? Oh hell no! You gotta know what the hell you're doing. So in your group, if you're terrible at looking at plants or whatever, then you want to have somebody that in your groups kind of knows what the hell, And like I said, if that person deals only with adults, do not, and I am not going to be soft on this one. If you give small kids medicine, as in natural medicines that are meant for adults, the baby will have a torture and then it will die. The baby will die. Because you cannot give the babies the medicine that you give to adults, even if it is natural. And there is no such a thing as a natural treatment that will fit everyone. So, hell no. If you do not know plants, you should not be a witch. And kind of like that. It goes kind of like that. The saying goes kind of like that. So, hell no. You gotta know what you are doing. And when you're dealing with kids, you want to have somebody that knows a little bit about how to deal with problems that are with, kids related. And I'm going to continue by telling you the following. One of the top 10 nightmares that we have, or at least the ones that I have been through, I can tell you it's when my daughter was an infant and we were dealing with her having a fever, because infants will get sick a hell of a lot, by the way. And she has a fever and medicine will not work. And when the medicine doesn't work, every time that you have a fever, you have to try to release this by water, and you want to kind of have template kind of water. You're not supposed to use cold water on fevers. Some people will even put ice on the cold water and think that will damage the nerves in the long term, especially because of the thermal shock and stuff. So, sorry, I keep getting interrupted. So like I was saying, I was trying to deal with the freaking fever. And we have no water in the pipe. And of course, at this point, there was very limited water because we had troubles with the water pump or whatever. So point being that, when you're dealing with your kid that needs water to get better because it has a fever and you have no water nearby. I mean, I have had this issue. Several people that have kids, oh crap, the fever can get to 39, 40 Celsius degrees. My freaking God. If that fever gets over 41, then your kid, oh crap, I'm not going to tell you that the images of a freaking terror movie in which you are bleeding through your eyes will happen if you have a fever that it is over 42 or near 42, because the blood will be so freaking thin that it will use, oh crap. So point being that as soon as the fever gets to a 39, you need to get into a shower with the infant or the kid. You need to get into a shower, and you need water to go through you and try to make you cool down. And skin to skin contact will help you. But if you have no water through the pipe, which by the way that happened to me twice, oh crap. At that point we had two 2 gallons of water that we have for emergency, like potable water. Oh crap, we open those and we throw them into a bucket, and we actually put my baby into the freaking bucket to try to get her better. But that's because I had those as an emergency, and it was for drinking. So if you're thinking that your potable water or your water is going to be used for drinking and cleaning, no, it's not. And if you do not have at least, and I do mean at least, if water that it is separated, like no touch unless it is absolutely life or death situation, never ever take that water. Because if let's say that you have the baby with the freaking fever, where the hell are you going to get the water? And you can't use obviously dirty water, and obviously you are not supposed to use any kind of water either. You're supposed to use water that will help the baby or the kid get better. And you need at least, I was barely making it with 2 gallons. I should have had at least four. And you need a proper container to put the kid into it. Because if you do not have a container in which you can put the kid into it, like the entire body of the kid should be, leveled with the freaking water. And then you need to know how you're going to pour it and stuff. It's like showering the baby or showering the kid. And oh crap. And at that time, I swear we use all the freaking, emergency water for that. And I do not need to tell you that if that water is in touch with the kid that is sick, that water, even though it was potable or whatever, is no longer potable. Because for all you know, that kid has a virus or a bacteria or a parasite. And so that water you're going to have to throw away or use it in the garden. And, let's say that you have 3 kids, and the 3 of them are sick like that. And you need to use this water, let's say every day for 3 days. That's how much water you need to store, like in a hidden thing that you put it like a red label that says death or sick kind of situation. And that is just for kids. How the hell do you do that with an adult? Because shortly after that, I was sick like that. And I had a fever. And I needed to take that same thing that my daughter went to. I had to do it. My mom had to do it on me, by the way. But we have no water. I do not need to tell you that I am small. So I was trying to fit myself in in my daughter's bucket thing, like the canopy thing in which we bathe her. And I do not need to tell you that, that water was barely enough for me. Barely. And, of course, we're pissed because this is the potable water that we have. It's emergency. what the hell? But the good news is that at that time, we didn't have problems with the freaking gasoline. So we could ask our neighbor to go and get more water, which my mom did the next day. But, point being that, even if you don't have a car and you need to go run to try to get it in the nearest supermarket or whatever, you need a way to carry that freaking water. And dealing with the lack of water and dealing with the lack of food, it's a problem that goes well, and I do mean well beyond the lack of resources. It's the lack of education. Because if you knew what the hell to do to get the proper nutrition from certain plants or whatever, you might be able to go through these things. If you knew, that water is not it's not for cleaning, and it's not for for drinking. Certain water, like I will say 10-20% of your freaking water should be under lock. No use whatsoever, like never. And that water is for treating diseases and helping you through a fever. Especially when there are no doctors or you can't run to the freaking hospital because the hospital is collapsed for whatever reason. And especially when you don't know what else to do. And I do not need to tell you that now that we're sick, because, we have been sick lately. But not now, like not with a water or whatever. I'm telling you, like, we are sick all the time. Now that we know that we're sick, this is what we do. As soon as we feel weird, we take hydration powders. They contain a hell of a lot of minerals or whatever. And, oh crap, half of our problems are gone. Really. And I can tell you right now why. I have told you in several of my videos before. Hydration problems are very, very serious. And hydration problems are not going to be solved by you drinking water. Because the water is supposed to be filled with certain minerals that we are not getting. And, and it's not the same. So 1 out of 10 times that you're hungry, you're not hungry, you're actually thirsty. That is 1 in 10, statistically speaking. And 1 in 3 people in the US or in Canada or in Europe or in places that they actually have water, 1 in 3 people have problems with hydration. Problems with hydration in places that there are no water are roughly 3.5 to 4 in some places out of 5 people. So if you don't have a hell of a lot, and I do mean a hell of a lot of serums and stuff, and you're sick and you're dealing with, vomits and you're dealing with stress. By the way, when you're stressed, your brain requires more water and more minerals than before. Without minerals, the chemistry in your brain will go nuts. And, oh crap, you need your brain to be functioning the best that you can. So you do need a hell of a lot of nutrition for your freaking brain. So, the whole situation with not having water and not having food, people will go and try to get the physical things, like the food and the water. Having the water is not enough. If you do not know the main uses for it, people will think cleaning, washing. Washing clothing is something that most people don't think. Doing the dishes is something that most people don't think until they cook, and then they are like, what the hell? And you don't think about water in terms of being sick. If you need the freaking water because you have a fever, what the hell are you going to do about it? And how many people are going to need it? Because once, like I told you, once that water is used, you should not use it you know, for something else, especially if you do not know if it is a virus, bacteria, or whatever. Because if it is a bacteria, and then you share that water with other of your kids, or hell, for all I know, you are in touch with that water, you just got the bacteria and now you're also sick. So, dealing with the lack of water is not just the freaking lack of water. Is dealing with you not knowing what to do. Is dealing with you not thinking properly. And here is where the video that I made before about drama and relationships. This is where you have to sit down and clear your freaking emotion. Because you are only going to think, or your brain can only focus on the relationships that you have, which have drama in it. But the relationships that you do not have drama in it, they are gone into your brain. Your brain will not see them. And those relationships are the ones that can actually save you. So for example, let's say that you get along with your neighbor very nice all the freaking time. And the guy is a doctor, and he mentioned this once or twice, and you're kind of like, hey, Mr. Adam, how are you? Every day, and you don't care. And now you have your kid that needs to go to a hospital and whatever, and you are not going to remember that your freaking neighbor is a doctor. Why? Because if you don't have drama with that guy, then you are not going to focus on that. Your brain will not be able to see it. I don't know how or why, but I can tell you 100 out of 100 times is a rule. It's like there is no escape from that freaking rule, and I can prove it. My neighbor, he has problem with high blood pressure. And we have medicine for that, because my mom also suffers from that. But we have a tensiometer, and we have the oximeter, and we have medicine for emergency blood pressure, because my mom has told him this 3,000 times. But here's the deal. My neighbor, the guy, not the girl. The girl and us is kind of different. But he doesn't have drama with us at all. We share each other's, come on, he gives me a ride to go to school, and we have a perfect relationship. And he was in need of somebody to measure his blood pressure in an emergency several times, and he knew that we have the device to do this. And he was always going to a hospital to do it. Because if he every time that he needed to get the freaking blood pressure taken, he completely forgot that we could do it. And this happens all the freaking time. Every time that you are going through an emergency, you think hospital, or you think something like that, or you think whatever the hell the movies told you, which it will never be the same as the freaking movie, and it will never work as it works in the movies. And you will always think of the people that you have drama with. You will never think of the people that are perfect in your relationships. Never. I do not know why. So what you do about it is you write down before emergencies. You actually write it down, because that is the only way that your body may, and I do mean may be able to remember, because of the mnemotic, as in the memory thing that you go through, the process that you go through when you write. You write, who the hell do you call? Who the hell do you go to? Who the hell can help you before the emergency? Because during the emergency, you will completely forget about anyone that actually can help you. For all I know, you can have, your brother might be a doctor, and if If you know, if you have a perfect relationship with them, then you won't call them. This has been proven. I can prove it also because there are mechanics, and I do mean mechanics like the ones that, people that fix the cars. There are mechanics that will get pissed at their daughters or at at their nephews and stuff, because they will go, those family members will go to any other mechanic but them. And the thing is that they ask, daughter, why didn't you go to me? I can fix your car. I am a freaking mechanic. And the daughter goes, oh, daddy, I didn't think of you. And the guy goes, what the hell? I'm always providing for you and I'm perfect. Yeah, that's why. Every time that something goes perfect, you are not going to look for it during an emergency, because it's kind of like your brain. I think of it as this. Every time that you are into a desert and there is an oasis in front of you, your brain will go, oh, hell no, that's an illusion. That just doesn't happen, so I'm going to go through the sand. It's kind of like that. That's the best way to put it. So this is why you need a plan. And this is why, your water should be, some of it should be, into like a red tape or something. And I will actually put, colors on it, like, so that you can remember. Especially red and yellow and stuff, and put it there in the back part. And say, for health. No for, hydration or anything else, but for health. And, and I'm going to stop here because, I will tell you about it later, all the other things, because, I don't even know what the hell. So I hope this was helpful. So thank you for watching. See you again soon.